evening guys. So today we will start NCRT class 11 chapter 1 part 10. So let's see what it is telling. Name of the author appears after the specific epithet, that is at the end of the biological name, and is written in an abbreviated form. That example magnifera indica lean. What happened guys? Suppose a author has given a scientific or a biological name to an organism, and we don't know about the author who has given their scientific or biological name to that organism. Then what happened after the scientific or biological name, or after the specific epithet, we used to write the name of that author in an abbreviated form, that means in a short form. Suppose here example it has given magnifera indica lean. Here magnifera indica is the scientific name of mango and lean is the name of the author. So it has told that name of the author appears after the specific epithet, that is at the end of the biological name, and is written in an abbreviated form, example magnifera indica lean. Let's see the next statement what it is telling. It indicates that this species was described by Linnaeus. So lean means the scientist name which has been written lean after magnifera indica is the name of that scientist is Linnaeus. Okay, so it has told over here that when we write the biological or scientific name of any organism, after that we used to write the name of the author who has given that biological name or scientific name in an abbreviated form, that means in a short form. We used to write that short form of that name of the author after the specific epithet or after the biological or scientific name of that organism. Okay, so let's see the next statement what it is telling. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. What happened guys? There are many living organisms in this world, and to give all the living organisms a particular scientific or biological name is really very impossible. So there must be some kind of process to give this biological, so there should be some kind of process to give name, to give a biological or a scientific name to these living organisms, and this process is known as classification. That here also it has been told that since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is classification. Okay, so let's see what is classification. First you have came to know that classification is the process by which we can give the name to all the living organisms in a part wise or in any kind of process, or any kind of with any kind of study method. Okay, so let's see what it is telling about classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. So what happened guys, there are many living organisms, and these living organisms are grouped into their convenient categories. They have some following categories, and according to that categories they use to group these organisms, and this is also based on some easily observable characters. Means there should be some organisms which has same character, so they are categorized in one group. So in this manner classification is done. Okay, so let's see the next statement what it is telling. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plants or animals or dogs, cats or insects. So we can easily categorize based on some so we can not easily categorize, so we can easily recognize these groups of organisms such as plants, animals, dogs, cats and insects. How? As plants has branches and leaves, animals have 4 legs, and dogs have 4 legs, cats also had 4 legs, insects had 6 or 8 legs or wings or antenna. So according to these characters we can classify this, we can make a particular group for this all organisms and classify them. Okay, so let's see the next statement what it is telling. The moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organism in that group. So what it is telling over here guys, the moment when we used to make these organisms a particular group of this, or when we used to make a particular group of these organisms, a certain uh, we associate certain characters with that organism. Okay, then only the groups are being made. So this is only telling over here, the moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organisms in that group. Okay, so let's see the next statement, what it is telling. What image do you see when you think of a dog? So it is a very easy question, and its answer is also very easy. Suppose it is telling that when you think of a dog, then what image come to your mind? So it is very easy to answer it, that when you think of a dog, obviously the image of a dog will come to your mind. So it has written over here, see what is the answer. It is written over here, obviously each one of us will see dogs and not cats. So it has written that only, that when you think of a dog, we used to image a we used to see a image of a dog in our mind and not of a cat or a rat. Okay, so let's see the next statement, what it is telling. Now if we were to think as of Alsatians, we know what we are talking about. So children, Alsatians means dogs, or the organisms place in the place of present, or the organisms not place, or the organisms present in the place of Alsatians. Alsatians is also name of a place. So the organism living in Alsatia is also known as Alsatians, and some dogs are also known as Alsatians. Okay, so let's see the next statement, what it is telling. Similarly, suppose we were to say mammals, you would of course think of animals with external ears and body hairs. So children, we have studied from childhood only the organisms which bear mammary glands is known as mammals. But mammals do also had external ears and body hairs. So suppose you are saying something about mammals, so we always used to think of animals which has external ears and body hairs. So this is only telling over here that suppose we were to say mammals, you would of course think of animals with external ears and body hair. So let's see the next statement, what it is telling. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat plants, not of rice or any other plant. So it is similar to the question in the last in the third or fourth last sentence, that it is similar to the third or fourth last sentence, what it was written, that what image do you see when you think of a dog? That when we think of a dog, we used to image a picture of a dog. Similarly, here also it has given that likewise in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our mind will be of wheat plants, not of rice or any other plant. So what it is telling, that when we talk of a wheat plant, we used to imagine in our mind the plant of wheat plant, and not of rice or lentil plant. Okay, so this is the thing telling over here. So let's see the next statement, what it is telling. Hence all these dogs categories we used to study Hence all these dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories we used to study organisms. So what happened, guys, these organisms are of convenient categories and we used to study these organisms. Okay, so let's see the next statement, what it is telling. The scientific term for these categories at very different levels, sorry, just a second, I have crossed one statement. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. So what happened, guys, the scientific term for these categories is taxa. Taxa is a unit used by the scientist through which they used to give the name of any organism. So taxa has a following process. First, they are some kind of like genus, species, phylum, kingdoms in such a manner and so on. So what happened here, it is telling the scientific term for these categories is taxa. So the scientific term which we use to give these organisms belongs to the categories in taxa. Okay, here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different levels. What happened, guys, the taxa which we use to give the scientific term to this to these organisms is at very different can indicate categories at very different levels. Okay, so let's see the next statement, what it is telling. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa, but you know that a dog is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals, dogs represent taxa at different levels. So I have told you earlier also that the scientific term given to these categories uh, belongs to the given to these categories is depend on categories in is taxa. So these all organisms are also taxa, and they all represent the taxa at different levels. So this is the today's topic, guys. Have a good day and